I want y'all to understand what I'm saying to you. Culturally, the Caucasian male is homosexual in their culture. That's something they do. Let's bring it on home. Rizza, don't take it all the way to Europe. That's too much. We're not trying to go all the way into history. We're not too intellectually, savvy. We don't want to do that. Let me say it this way to you. How many of you have been in the military? How many of you have white friends? How many of you have white associates when you went to college, when you're in high school, when you're at work, and when they joke, their jokes about 95% of the time always have some homosexual innuendo to it. 95% of the time the joke always goes into some anal area.
Yo, peace. Assalamu alaikum. So, I caught one of Brother Rizza Islam's Instagram lives again the other night. I know I'm a little late with it. Been a little busy, man, but check it out. So he was speaking about how Andrew Schulz made these degrading remarks and comments about our brother Kendrick Lamar, and he also spoke about the homosexual culture within white society and the history and normality of it. And he spoke on the weak brothers that sit there and don't really say much and go along and get along and kind of just be there for the views and their attention, like that brother that was sitting on the couch. And he also mentioned other people like Charlemagne and their relationship with Vlad, and people like Gary Owens and Andrew Schulz, who openly disrespect and say little slick stuff on the sly. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into that, and for anybody who ain't seen or who hasn't seen the clip of Andrew, I'm gonna put it in right after this, and then we're gonna jump right into what Brother Rizza Islam had to say about it. So y'all tap in.
Stand back and stand by. He's not even saying that. He's saying get up in that ass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
He did.
But I need Kendrick. I need you to do it, Kendrick.
You want to squabble up with Kenny?
No. I mean, here's the thing. This is the thing that is kind of funny about it. Is like, first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they will kill me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll fucking cut me up. They'll shoot me. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy. Y'all would do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do. If it's me and Kendrick, this is about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're bored and we done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games and we did all the other things, we cleaned everything, and I'm like, man, I might as well fuck you. There's nothing he could physically do to stop that besides put his legs in the air and choose a position. Maybe I'll let him choose a position.
Why are you pulling this picture up, Mark? Why are you doing this?
Put up that picture of him and Travis Kelce's girl. Look at that shit.
Oh my God, dude, that's unbelievable.
Yo, I'll be honest. I would go so far as to say, I don't think he could stop most people on the planet from having sex with him. Like, the only reason he got security is to stop people from having sex with him whenever he wants. Now, don't get me wrong, there's people who could fuck me against my will. I was in an elevator once with this drag queen, and this motherfucker was like 6'5".
Oh, yeah.
And we're in the elevator, and we're going down. I'm like, yo, if he wanted to take it, I gotta cause a ruckus or something like that. Like, I gotta shit my pants. I gotta do something.
Yeah.
I gotta do something to stop. He might enjoy it. I have no clue what they're into, but I know with Kendrick that he's talking a lot of shit, but if it came down to it, I could put him on my lap. I could feed him a bottle. I could put him on my lap. I could feed him a bottle and make love to him if I wanted to, and there's nothing he could do about it. I might not be hard. Dick might just slap soft against his butt.
But you can just beat him up. You don't have to fuck him, right?
No. We're not doing acts of physical violence over here, bro.
Okay.
That's what
This is an act of sweet love.
This is an act of love.
Oh, you're a pacifist.
I'm saying I could be romantic with him, and there's nothing he could do about it, to the point, like, I think I'm so charming, he would just just fall into it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think he would just be so charmed. He would be like, damn, like, whap, 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 whap. Let me suck it up.
This was MLK's dream, right?
Yes, for real.
White people and black people
Listen,
come together.
so we need to figure this out. We need to figure, like, the only thing he could do is after I was finished, like, write some words that rhyme together about it.
Oh, that
Do you know
album
what I
would be
mean?
fire.
Like,
That would be a
and
good
that
album.
would, oh my God.
He can make some calls. He can make some calls.
Yeah, you want
That
to talk
he can
about
do.
another album called Damn.
Be humble.
Sit down. Reincarnated. Ask I penetrated. Listen, but in all seriousness, we love Kendrick Lamar, our woke king. And I think we're gonna do our best to abide by his. I don't know what his rules are about, like me having sex with him if we're in a room together.
I don't think you'd want that.
We don't know.
Well, I'm assuming.
We got to wait about 5 years for him to make another album. He'll address it.
That's right. There is a chance in 5 years he would make another album, and the song about this is gonna be sensational. It's gonna be absolutely sensational. Don't you think?
So he's gonna have some bars for you in the Super Bowl. Watch. He's gonna have some bars for you.
I mean, the irony.
Come on in, y'all. Come on in. We are already reaching over 400 people in less than 2 minutes. Let me know what city, what state, what country you are checking in from. Good to see my family from Brooklyn, New York. Good to see my family from ATL, Georgia. I see B. Moore's in the building. Baltimore's in the building. Cali is in the building. Indiana is in the building. Come on in, y'all. Houston, Texas. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. Philly is in the building. Compton is in the building. Jersey, Cleveland. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Okay, so I'm going to address something here. I know for a fact that we do not study. A lot of us don't study. Not enough of us study. This is why I have to address certain things, because we get caught up in the world and we don't take things serious when they do need to be taken serious. So let me address something here really quick, if you don't mind. There are a lot of things taking place. There is still this ongoing energy that is building up as we go towards January of next year, where Donald Trump will be sworn in office. So there's a whole lot of energy going on with that. Different people being appointed, different people who are currently looking toward what may happen once the administrations are switched and whatnot. There's stuff happening in the communities. There's a lot of stuff going on dealing with current events. But I'm going to bring up something here that I think we need to take serious. Okay, so first thing. Brother Rizza loves comedy, right? I love comedy. Let me mention this to y'all. I can take a joke. I laugh at jokes. I was born and raised in Compton, California. My whole family is funny. I can honestly say I think I'm pretty funny too. Definitely. I love watching comedy. I love it. It's something that gets people by, for sure. Comedy is a beautiful thing. Now, there are times when people use comedy as a cover for blatant, overt racism. I'm going to mention this to y'all again. The problem with not knowing history and talking in the present is that you tend to come off not only ignorant, but you will make a fool out of yourself when you don't know history. So let me say this very clearly to all of you. I have been to comedy shows at the Laugh Factory at multiple locations. I will tell you when a person is being blatantly, covertly racist and hiding it under the veil of comedy, right? Y'all know how it is. You have a family or a family friend or a person in your family who likes to throw jabs at you, subtle jabs in front of people, but they dress it up like a joke. Like, girl, you already know your man is broke. You know I'm playing with you. Or like, man, you know your girl done been all around the neighborhood, but I'm just playing with you. You know I'm just playing with you. Right? There's a difference between joking and degrading. When I saw this circumstance with Andrew Schulz, and I'm calling him out by name just to mention this really quick. Because I saw some people say, well, Rizza, hold on, man. You never go at a comedian. Let me make this very clear to all of you. Number one, there's nothing a comedian can say about me that I can't take. Because some of you don't live in reality. Some of us are real soldiers. Some of us genuinely stand for the people. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. But Schulz, a devil, I'm saying that clearly right now. When you open your mouth, whether if you are black, white, or anyone in between, sexual assault, rape, and forcing yourself onto a man is not a joke. A man talking about how he is going to physically take another man's manhood isn't a joke. I don't care how funny you think you are. It isn't a joke. There's nothing funny about it. If a black man says it about another black man, that's not a joke. If a white man says it about another white man, here's the difference. That's their culture. Rizza, wait a minute now. Hold on. No, I'm telling you. This is why you need to learn history. I'm going to give you a few book references if you don't mind. Shall we begin? Shall we start? Shall we go into this? Number one, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Our sister, truly love her. Get this book. Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. I'll just give you a few book references so that you know I'm not just pulling it out of thin air. Medical Apartheid. Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. I'm just going to give you three. I should give you four, but I'll give you three. The Delectable Negro. This one, if you are going to choose between all of them, I wouldn't recommend you choose between all of them. However, if your budget only allows you to get one of these books, I recommend you grab The Delectable Negro first. So let us make sure we have some references. We're going to go into history. For those of you who like to say, man, Rizza's not that deep. It ain't that serious. No, you just say you're ignorant and you don't know history. We can take a joke when it's a joke. We can take a joke when it's a joke. But when I watch a white man, I've said this way, when I watch a Caucasian individual open his mouth with this caterpillar mustache on, talking about how he is going to take a man's manhood, and then for 2.5 minutes describes how he's going to take this man's manhood, describes how he'll put him on his knee and give him a baby bottle and then take his manhood, describes how he's going to put his legs up and how he should do it against his will. I want y'all to understand what I'm saying to you. Culturally, the Caucasian male is homosexual in their culture. That's something they do. Let's bring it on home. Rizza, don't take it all the way to Europe. That's too much. We're not trying to go all the way into history. We're not too intellectually, savvy. We don't want to do that. Let me say it this way to you. How many of you have been in the military? How many of you have white friends? How many of you have white associates when you went to college, when you're in high school, when you're at work, and when they joke, their jokes about 95% of the time always have some homosexual innuendo to it. 95% of the time, the joke always goes into some anal area. 95% of the time, the joke just tends to always lean into some fetish, anal cavity type of thing here. Some gay thing. Rizza, do you have something against gay people? Stop it. What I'm addressing is Andrew Schulz saying how he's going to take Kendrick Lamar's manhood because Kendrick Lamar, without naming any names, said in the song Whacked Out Morals that, quote, "Don't let no white comedian talk about a black woman, that's law." I paraphrase a little bit, end quote. Okay, yeah. And the only person that commented was the dog who got hit. What did Malcolm X say? He said, when you throw a rock over a fence, the only dog that hollers is the one who got hit. Okay, if I didn't name you, why are you responding? There's a problem with being weak and soft on the internet. Nobody name dropped you. But the moment white comedians gets brought up, you want to respond. And the reason why he responded the way he did, he didn't just make a joke about Kendrick Lamar. We would have been like, yeah, you're making a joke. That's fine. Cool. But you said, I'm going to take his manhood. I'm going to put him on my knee, feed him a baby bottle. I'm going to have his legs up. Hey, that's not a joke. That's not a joke, sir. What is this sick obsession that white men mainly have with the anal cavity? We can go back to Europe now. We can go back to pederasty. Let's make this very clear for those of y'all who think, oh, Brother Rizza, you're just a little irritated, upset. No. That's this current generation of ignorant as hell individuals. A lot of you don't study and you don't want to study. You want to be mentally castrated and weak and effeminate. And you don't want to have no connection to the history of your people, no connection to your ancestors, no connection to the revolutionary spirit of those who fought for us to get to this point. You want to be weak. So to the weak Negroes, say nothing, comment with nothing. I'm only talking to the people who actually want to hear truth and facts, who understand, whether if you're white, black, or all in between. Anybody who accepts truth, I know you're listening. Mr. Schulz, along with the Indian comedian who was sitting next to him, kikiing along with him, and throwing out all these straw man arguments and these red herrings, talking about, well, wait a minute, so you're telling me that a rapper wants to defend black women now? Yes. And no white man has the authority to open their damn mouth about anything a black man wants to do when it comes to us protecting our people. You should shut your damn mouth. Here's the difference. Some of us are not comedians. If you're a comedian, stay in your damn lane, go be funny. Go do a joke somewhere. I said this before when I was talking about D.L. Hughley. I said this before when I was correcting Chris Rock. I said this before when I was addressing a number of our comedians, because they were pushing the poison for people to take. If y'all remember back then, when they were pushing the poison for our people to take, they knew nothing about the science, nothing about the long-term effects, no information on long-term studies, nothing. They knew nothing about basic 10th grade biology, but they were telling black folks, y'all stupid if y'all don't take this shot. Y'all are dumb if you don't. Go over there, write some damn jokes, do some stand-up, slapstick, Three Stooges comedy, and get the hell on. Get your check, go do your thing. Only to the comedians that it applies to, not all of them. When you start stepping into the lane of where activists belong, scholars belong, educators belong, now you are causing a problem. So let me not go too far on this point, or too far off this point. When Mr. Schulz, German last name, every time I bring up something that's connected, it has to be given a reference. Operation Paperclip, Mr. Schulz. You need to read Operation Paperclip, and you know about it, just like you know about the term buck breaking. And this is why I brought this up. In response to Kendrick Lamar's track, Whacked Out Morals, where he said, don't let no white comedian talk about a black woman, that's law. Okay. Yeah, that's law. Some of y'all like, oh man, you can't say that. Oh man, it's just comedy. Oh man, it's just, oh man, whatever. People have their own opinions. That's fine. But Kendrick was just making it plain, laying it out there. Hey, don't let no white comedians talk about black women, that's law. Okay, he didn't say no names. When Mr. Schulz responded, you could have responded again. You could have responded with comedy. You respond with a threat to emasculate and buck break this man. Reason, what is buck breaking? On slave plantations here in America, there in Jamaica, different parts of the world, white men would tie the arms and the legs of black men to walls. They would spread them, take all the clothes off, and they would physically insert themselves into the black man in front of all the other slaves, our ancestors, our people. It was called buck breaking. If any of you have never seen the documentary film Buck Breaking, you should watch it. Brother Rizza Islam is featured in there. I believe our brother, is that my brother here? Our brother Talbert Swan. Good to see you, my brother. He's in that film as well. Everyone should see the film documentary called Buck Breaking. You need to know your history so that you don't get caught up with other folks who are ignorant. Because you could never make certain statements like that about the Jewish community. You could never make certain jokes like that about the Indian community. You could never make certain jokes like that about the Chinese community, Asian community, Australian community, African community. There are certain things you cannot say when they have a cultural, traumatic connection to them. It is a deep humiliation ritual. That is right. Deep humiliation ritual. Horrible. So Andrew Schulz was trying to do that, humiliate Kendrick by threatening to do something like that to the brother and dressing it up as though it's comedy. And the reason why I had to address it is because I know there are a lot of people who genuinely don't know what buck breaking is. You better know your history. You really need to know your history, because if you don't, you'll be sitting right there like those two weird Negroes on the couch laughing along with this dude, making a joke about raping a man. Yo, it's not funny. It's genuinely just not funny. I love comedy. That's not fun. It's just not funny. I don't know anywhere on this planet where it's funny except inside of the brain of the white man. And I'm very serious when I say that. They always make jokes about the anal cavity because that's the thing that they love playing in. You need to know where homosexuality originally came from in Europe. You need to know about pederasty. You need to know about the Roman Saturnalia. You need to know about actual carnivals, the festival of orgies. You need to know history. If you ever want to get into a real conversation, you got to know history, or else you'll be the kind of person who, because you don't have the intellect, you just think everything that's not in your knowledge base ain't that serious, man. Come on, brother Rizza, just laugh, bro. It's a joke, bro. It's cool. No, gay jokes are white people culture, and everyone knows that. But when it comes to buck breaking, where you're talking about taking another man's manhood and you happen to be white and the man happens to be black, now it's not just gay culture, it's buck breaking, which is something done to our ancestors here in America. And you gotta know that, because I would never make a joke about the Holocaust, dude. I wouldn't make a joke like that. What, because I'm afraid of them? No, I'm not afraid of a damn one of them. But I have something called morals. I have ethics. I actually have something called a heart. I actually care. Why? Because I know damn well I wouldn't want somebody else joking like that about what my people went through. I promise you that. I can respect the trauma that a people have gone through. I can respect that because I wouldn't want you to make fun of what my people went through. So we can have some mutual respect on that. There are certain things called boundaries that you don't cross. Another thing I want to mention here really quick. To Charlemagne the God, to any black person who hangs around these particular devil white boys who you kiki and laughing with so much.
Nah, man, fuck all that, man. Who is this nigga right here on the couch doing all this kiki and ha-ha and this shit, bro? Because I didn't find none of that shit funny. A 45-year-old Jewish comedian is telling you to your face as a black man how he would, and how can I say this, buck break another black man, and you're laughing about it. Like, it's fucking hilarious to you. Oh my God. Like, bro, you are exiled from the black community. I don't know who this is, but you're exiled from the black community. All right? I get it. Andrew's a comedian. He's supposed to be funny. He's supposed to be funny is the key word in that sentence. Because ain't none of that shit funny at all. Kendrick mentioned you in one line in his album. We talk about the same Andrew that says society is so soft. They can't take jokes. He mentioned you in one line and you immediately went to buck breaking? Nah. That's fucking crazy. And all of this because Kendrick said, don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman as law. Black man defending black woman caused a Jewish comedian to make buck-breaking jokes.
To the Vlads of the world and the Andrew Schulz and Gary Owen. There's a time limit that y'all have. You know how you age out at a certain point. There's a time limit you have where you are able to coast along being next to people who are known disrespecters of your community. There's a time limit. The Breakfast Club is nothing like it used to be. People are not watching it like they used to. Too many of you have been compromised. You have pushed the LGBTQ plus whatever agenda for so long by having that rainbow flag sitting behind your guests as a subliminal, subconscious programming mechanism right behind your guests. Almost every single guest, the only guest that didn't have that rainbow flag behind them up until the recent I'll say 2 or 3 years when you guys switched up the whole format. But before that, that rainbow flag was sitting behind every guest you have had, except the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to my knowledge, maybe a few others, because we know what it does to the mind. That's why the minister's team said, you need to remove that flag. You need to remove that alcohol, any of that crap that's behind your guest that all of you know. And if you don't know, whoever the director is of the Breakfast Club or any other platform, they know what product placement is. They know what imagery does. Behind me, you see what? Some awards because of my community work. You see the Holy Quran. You see a black globe for a reason. You see a Rubik's Cube. You see my brain supplement. You see the Star and Crescent of Islam. You see a magazine. You see books and books and books. Because what does this do? It injects certain ideas into the subconscious. So while I'm talking, you may not be thinking about this actively, but your mind is recording it while I'm talking to you. And it connects all this to what I'm saying. Now, point is, Charlemagne, you and everyone else who have these connections to these people, you only have a certain period of time where you think people will forget and forgive. You only have a certain period of time. Many of you really think that everybody's just going to forget. The next week, it'll be some other new story popping up. And yes, a good percentage of the people have a very short attention span. That's just a fact, and y'all know that. You know that. The average person has the attention span of a goldfish, which is roughly between 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. But a lot of people are not going to forget certain things that were done and certain things that were said. And you will not be able to say, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I just, he makes jokes like that. Or no, I promise you, some of y'all are going to get checked and you will not be able to simply apologize. Remember what happened with a man by the name of Michael Richards. I believe you know him to be Kramer from Seinfeld. How many of you remember Kramer from Seinfeld? Y'all tell me really quick, do you remember what happened with Kramer from Seinfeld? Over 15 years ago, what happened with him when he did some stand-up comedy at the Laugh Factory, and he had a total meltdown. He went crazy. Do y'all remember? Tell me y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Let me just show you real quick, just a little snippet from this. Okay, all right, I'll pause it right there. Remember what happened with Kramer from Seinfeld? Years, nobody thought he had a racist bone in him. He was funny. He made jokes on Seinfeld all day long, right? Funny. By the way, the name of that video, just so everyone knows, the title of that video on YouTube is Michael Richards Goes Crazy. Michael Richards Goes Crazy. Just type that video in on YouTube and you will find it. Remember, he was funny, he was cool, and this is what happens with a lot of them. When I say a lot of them, I'm saying a lot of white comedians or a lot of white actors or just white males for the most part. They'll be your friend. They'll make jokes with you. Everything will be cool. Rizza, are you racist? No. But don't get mad when I'm speaking the truth, because even white people know about this. They know. They'll be cool, funny, make jokes with you and all that. The moment you push them to a certain point, that part that's deep inside of them that they've been holding jumps out at you. And that's when all that racism comes out, how they really feel comes out. That N-word will start flying. They call you monkey. They call you all that. Woo! It starts spewing. They just throw it up. And you'd be like, dang, I didn't know that was all of you. I thought we was cool, baby. I thought we was cool. Minister Farrakhan said, if you want to know the real person, disappoint them and see how they respond. Disappoint them and see how they react. And the real part, he said this in general for anybody. Disappoint them on purpose. Just make up something and disappoint them and see how they respond. And that is what comes out. Paul Mooney even came out after Kramer from Seinfeld went crazy. And he said, I've known him for 30 years. And I never thought that man was like that. He said he went from being my friend who I knew for 30 years. And all of a sudden I felt like I was at a KKK rally. This is what Paul Mooney said, the legendary Paul Mooney. He said, I felt like I was at a KKK rally. And then they said, well, what could he do to apologize? And this is where I go back to Mr. Andrew Schulz for what he said about Kendrick Lamar. Do not let this individual get back out here and just accept him as if everything is cool. No, the same way different communities make you apologize and put you on an apology tour before you can be accepted or we do business with you or you can even come back around again, put him on an apology tour. Brother Rizza Islam isn't shocked by this at all. That's why Brother Rizza Islam is an activist and a researcher. This is what I do. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a basketball player. I'm none of that. No, Brother Rizza is not shocked at all by this. So don't get it twisted. However, for those who are connected to people like this, you need to have a damn spine and start checking them. Put that man on an apology tour. Put him on that. It's the principle of the matter. You do not allow nobody to disrespect your culture like that, and they put it over under the guise of, oh, it's comedy. There's nothing funny about a man talking about taking another man's manhood anywhere. And this is how sick people get. You start bringing that up, and this is how sick people get. And I've noticed this, and it's mainly in the LGBT community, or it's unaccountable masculine women. The two groups that I've noticed who do this, who will gaslight you when you point out something, are LGBTQ or the masculinized women, not women in general, just the masculinized ones. If you say something like this, rape is never funny. Some people in LGBTQ will say, oh, well, did that happen to you? It must have happened to you. What? What? Excuse me? No, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It ain't never happened to Brother Rizza. It's just not funny. So nothing at all about it is funny. So when you open your mouth and say something like that, same thing with masculinized women. If a man says, hey, look, I don't like that. So, oh, you real sensitive about that, huh? Something happened to you? No, it's just, I don't like that. So a hit dog will holler is my point. Ain't a damn thing funny about it. Yes, and Charlamagne, you've been saying some very ratatouille suspect things for a very long time. We've never forgotten a lot of things that you said and have done. And you sent, I believe, DJ Envy a silicone cutout of your buttocks as a gift. I will never forget that. There's a lot of things that happen that we do our best to just, okay, our brother is growing. We're trying to look past the faults and we're trying to, but there are certain things where at a certain point, y'all got to start, you need to get called out by people who really care enough about you. You got to stop doing this stuff. You got to stop doing this stuff. I promise y'all. This is my biggest issue sometimes, is that we just let these people get very comfortable, and then after they get comfortable, then they start saying certain things. Many of you got to stop hanging around them privately. Stop drinking around them like that. Stop letting them in your house. Like, really, y'all don't have no damn decorum. You have no connection to yourself culturally, to your people culturally. The person who I'm mentioning is Charlamagne as well as Andrew Schulz. The last thing I'm going to mention here, as a part of this few things that I'm mentioning, again, I brought up a few book references for those who need to understand how serious this is. The first book reference is The Delectable Negro is the first book reference. The Delectable Negro. Make sure you put that in the comment section. Make sure you study that. The Delectable Negro. That's number one. Number two, medical apartheid. Medical apartheid, or apartheid for some of you who pronounce it that way. Make sure you get that book. Next thing, one second here. Next thing is Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by our sister, Dr. Joy DeGruy, or DeGroy. One of the most phenomenal books here because it outlines exactly some of the things that happen to us, and so does, of course, medical apartheid. I don't know if y'all haven't read this, man, I promise you, some of us are just too black for some people. Some of us are just too black. You know, we don't hang around white folks and let them make certain jokes about us and smile. Some of us don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. Seriously. And I will never do that. And they know I won't do that. That's why they get irritated when they try to bring me onto their shows. And that's why some of them are like, damn, we never going to bring him back on our show because you're too black. I will not be laughing at this kind of stuff. So the last thing, as I said, there were two brothers on the couch laughing with the individual. This is where the buck-breaking, effeminate, non-masculine behavior comes in that I abhor, that I truly have disdain for. When you are in the presence of someone, the first book, again, I think everyone's asking for. Yeah, the first book is The Delectable Negro. That's the first one. I also mentioned this. This is an honorary mention simply because Mr. Schulz, his last name is German, Scottish German. And so I thought it's simply logical to connect this. Operation Paperclip. That's just for some side information that you need to study. Operation Paperclip, about how the U.S. government brought over all the German scientists from Nazi Germany, pretended like they were, going against them, dealing with, the good old violations of humanity and all that at Nuremberg, the Nuremberg trials, and U.S. is like, hey, we don't want nothing to do with them dudes. And then they snuck them in, brought them to America, changed all the last names, put them in the Department of Education, the Department of Defense, put them in all the different areas, hired them, changed their names, and then literally said, we need you to do the same stuff you were doing over there, but give us all the science, all the technology, so that we could slowly do the same thing here to our own citizens. Basically what America did. Operation Paperclip. Definitely need to get that book. And the other one, again, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome and Medical Apartheid. All right. This is why I'm going to end this real quick. To the men watching, there's a reason why a lot of women don't like us at times. A lot of women can't stand us at times because we show less and less masculinity. What do you mean by that, Brother Rizza? What I mean is the times when things are not funny, we don't respond in a way that shows the whole room that it isn't funny. I'll say it again. The time when certain things are not funny, we don't respond in the way which shows the entire room that it is not funny. Masculinity demands a degree of respect. So if a joke is made about a black woman, for example, y'all can go to hell in a handbasket if you disagree with what I'm about to say, because some of you are controlled by your trauma. I'm talking about the brothers who have negative experiences with black women, and I'm also talking about black women who have negative experiences with some black men. None of y'all have had negative experiences with all of us. So hold your trauma for a second. If a white man starts talking down about black women, her nappy-headed this. Yeah, because her daddy wasn't there. Yeah, because y'all wasn't raised with two parents. And is she on her food stamps? You already know she on government assistance. Ain't no man in the house take care of her. You can joke for maybe a second and a half. After that, it's not a joke. Some of you will be like, but is it true? If you want to speak a truth, your truth must be put in context, and it also must be historically connected to its relevancy. So if a white man brings up the fact that some black folks are on food stamps, the number one group on food stamps are white people. The number one demographic in America that are on government assistance, specifically food stamps, EBT, are Caucasian white people. Numerically, that is a fact. So if you didn't know that, now you know that. But when a white man does it, the first thing I think of is, well, wait a minute. Let's go back to President Lyndon Baines Johnson. Let's go all the way back to different presidents when it comes to putting food stamps in the community, creating the slave-like condition among the people where they are dependent on the government. Hold on. Who incentivized black women to kick black men out the house so that they can give them money after the racist circumstance, after the redlining, after the all-white unions going way back to Samuel Gompers? You have to know history before you get into an argument with somebody who just tries to cherry pick a piece of history. You must know history first. You must know history and put it all the way in context. Chill out. This is why they don't have certain black people on these platforms. Because you can't run no small talk nonsense over on us. We read ever since it was legal. So no, I don't get into that nonsense, and I never will get into it. Some of you Negroes are spineless. That's what I'm saying. You have no level of self-respect. You got treated wrongly by your mama, by your baby mama, whatever, and you just turned on black people completely. You turned on black women completely. You turned on black men. These niggas ain't this. These hoes ain't this. You turned on your people. You generalize your trauma instead of directing it at who it belongs to. You put it on all of us. I promise you, this is one of the most self-defeating things that black people do. We generalize our trauma among all of our people when you are supposed to direct it at who is the cause, which number one is your damn self and myself when it comes to us perpetuating it. Originally is the system of white supremacy. Let's not get it twisted. We're not blaming. We are simply putting the damn blame where it goes in the order that it goes in. This system of white supremacy. And then secondly, us for perpetuating it. Then third is who we did it to and who did it to us. The system first, then us for continuing it, and then the people who we attacked or the one who attacked us, whatever. I don't like it. Don't get on no podcast and start keying. I've seen this too many times on too many podcasts. I've seen tons of them. Tons. Where the black man is just sitting there laughing because he doesn't want to not get views. He doesn't want to not be on the podcast. He doesn't want to not be seen. Some of you niggas are prostitutes for views. Damn. Most of these podcasts have no actual substance to them. People have microphones in front of their faces and don't know what they're talking about. They're not even talking about anything most of the time now. The majority of podcasts now are just talking about each other. Have y'all noticed? Have you noticed? The majority of these platforms that I've seen, they're running out of topics. They're running out of guests. And all they're doing now is talking about each other because they have nothing else to talk about. If you read books, if you studied documentaries, if you actually studied for years, you'd have so many topics to discuss. You would never have to gossip about each other. You would never have to because you'd have too many substantive things to discuss. So no, I don't like it. When I see that happen, I don't like it when I see our people laughing and going along with it. And some of y'all right now watching me right now are saying, man, Rizza, you're doing a little too much. No, you are not strong enough. You're not masculine enough. And I will dare to say for some of the black men watching, you ain't black enough. You don't love yourself enough. To some of the sisters watching right now, oh, Rizza, you're doing too much. You do not love yourself enough. You don't. Most of y'all wouldn't survive 2 damn minutes in the conditions our ancestors were in just 50 years ago. You don't have no connection. Your spirit has been cut off. Like really though. Some of y'all smoke so damn much, you drink so damn much, you cut off. You don't even know what it feels like to be connected to your people. And yes, I'm talking about whoever gets offended by what I'm saying. Some of you genuinely do not have love for your own people. You don't. You got more love for white folks than you do for your own people. Some of y'all. White folks ain't never did nothing to me. No, but they did something to your entire demographic of people on the planet. What the hell are you talking about? You can have your white friends and still speak the truth too, baby. It's all right. It's okay. You can still have your white girlfriend, your white husband, your white wife, and still speak the truth. It's okay. It's okay. Some of y'all live in this damn politically correct world, and this is why people can't stand real people. Real people are not, I'm telling you now, then I'm going to get off of here. Real people like real people, and real people don't get offended by the truth. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Someone said, Rizza, what books do you recommend to read about the Jewish slave trade? I'm glad you asked. These three right here. Boom, bam, bam. Blue, red, black. In that order. See, this is what I push right here. See what I'm saying? This is what I push right here. That knowledge. Yeah. You want to know about the slave trade? Jewish slave trade of black people, primarily. And not only just the slave trade, also what they did with us here in America as a part of the enslavement of our people, the slave plantations, the cotton mills, the tobacco, the sugar cane, all of that. Book number 2, if you want to know the foundation of the ADL and that whole circumstance dealing with what they call the worst thing to ever happen to their people here in America, the case of Leo Frank, book 3. There is a lot to learn. There's too damn much to study. We should never have to gossip about us at all. Did you ever in your life think that I'm going to be caught slipping when it comes to standing up for our people? Never. I pray that Allah continues to bless me to keep this strong. That's why I don't smoke. That's why I don't drink. That's why I don't waste my time playing no games. I can't. You have to keep this ready at all times. Seriously. Currently, what slave trade is happening in Libya? The Arab slave trade. The Arab slave trade, which would not have happened if the United States government, through Hillary Clinton, did not take out Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Trust me, it's not somewhere you want to go. It's a red herring strawman argument where you're trying to say it's Islam doing it to Africans in Libya. Knock it off. It's Arabs, Caucasian white Arabs, sponsored by white money from the United States government, doing what they're doing in the current slave trade in Libya right now in Africa. Stop playing that game. Ain't got a damn thing to do with Islam. It has everything to do with some Caucasian Arabs doing the same thing they did back then during the original Arab slave trade before the transatlantic slave trade. Please don't you ever try to equate the culture with the spiritual belief. Please. Some of y'all still, you're always trying to, again, you're trying to go here and go, stop it. The white man has his responsibility and it will never come up off of him. Some of you want me to go and point here and point. Well, Rizza, what about us? Yeah, I said we perpetuate the same crap, but it originated with them. We just perpetuate it. So I call responsibility on both sides, but some of y'all are not built like that. You're very soft. You're very soft. And you want to be soft. And Rizza, you want Rizza to be soft. I'm not going to be soft. Don't try to make me soft like you. The book is titled The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Book 1, 2, and 3. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Book 1, 2, and 3. Some of you Negroes are too damn sensitive. You have no intellectual stamina. You have no mental muscle. You get mad when your brother calls the masculinity to be resurrected inside of you and you say, oh, you're too serious, you're too this. Listen, you're not built like that, brother. That's all. Just say, I'm not built like that, Rizza. I just like to play my video games. Not a problem with playing video games. But stop letting video games play you. That's the problem I don't like. I love playing video games. I haven't played video games in a very long time, in some years. But some of y'all play video games so much that you abandon your manhood and you have become so psychologically controlled. Some of y'all watch porn all day. All day. Some of y'all scroll and be looking at just the butt naked women all day and wonder why you have no mental capacity to fight back. You can't even fathom the idea of fighting back against a system because you're so overly stimulated sexually because you ain't got no damn discipline. You don't know what it feels like to be a soldier. Stop talking. Some of y'all are soft. You're very soft. And even when I'm saying what I'm saying right now, some of y'all looking at me like, man, Rizza, man, I used to love this brother, man, but he's saying too many things that are true about me. You're not going to say it like that, but that's what it is. Take it as advice. Know I'm saying it in love. Know I'm saying it so that you can stand up and actually be more of a strong brother. That's all. That's all. How do we go from Kendrick to this? Because Kendrick is a black man, and what happened was the circumstance where a white man was talking about raping a black man, and that literally connected to all of this. Because that's what happens when you study history. Your brain connects things in order. It puts things in a library format where you have all of these files in your brain, and it connects. That's all I'm saying. Don't get mad when you're dealing with a brother who talks about way more than smoking and drinking and the new gossip. I don't give a damn about the new gossip. I'm addressing something that needs to be addressed. That's all I'm saying. My book has sold out, and we will be restocked possibly in the next week. I know I said it last week, but it will probably be another week. My book definitely has sold out. And I mentioned buck breaking in this book. That is a fact. How many of you have heard of this book here? How many of you have heard the Brainwash Manual? Anybody? Anybody? The Brainwash Manual? You know what? I can't even give you all that. You'll get the book. I know. Don't worry about it. That's at RizzaIslam.com. Last thing I'll mention real quick, on a good note. This is the brain supplement I take. Helps with my brain. Helps with my digestive system, reproductive system, immune system. Click the link in the bio or go to intellectualpower.net. I take it every day. Some of the best sleep I get, some of the best energy that I get, memory, brain fog, gone, all of that. Intellectual Power, intellectualpower.net. Make sure you click the link in the bio and get yours. And anybody in here who takes it, you already know what I'm talking about. Now, I appreciate y'all. I just had to go ahead and address that. I had to address that because, to be honest with you, I really get tired of seeing some of these platforms. I get tired of seeing some of these platforms not check people when they're supposed to check people. And I don't understand how they continue to do what they're doing. So I appreciate y'all again. Lastly, for the ladies in here, not for the men, not for the men who identify as women. Respectfully, you can't use this. What I'm going to show you, you can't use this. Women with the womb can. If you get offended by what I just said, that's a problem with you. Peace pads. These are 100% cotton, non-toxic, organic, sanitary pads for women. Peacepads.net or click the link in the bio. These were made for women. I'm not going to say who identify. I'm not a part of that gang of people who likes to follow the trend of insane people. To the women watching, these pads are for you. If you get mad at me, I sincerely don't give a damn. That is something you will learn about me. I have respect for everybody, but I will not lie to anybody to please anybody. And that is a fact. Peacepads.net, click the link in the bio to get yours. For the sisters, and intellectualpower.net or click the link in the bio to get yours as well. You will not regret it. I guarantee that. Thank you all for those of you who are watching. I appreciate you. Again, my apologies, but I'd never make an apology for speaking the truth. Sometimes I may offend people because they are not used to people speaking the raw truth anymore. They're genuinely not, and I get it. But going into 2025, this is something you will see regularly from your brother. I'm not going to be holding my tongue. No platform that I go on will I be holding my tongue. I appreciate y'all. Yes, teenagers can take intellectual power. So can children. Please look at the instructions page on the website. Yes, teenagers and children can take intellectual power. These are 13 herbs, 100% natural. You can. But go to the instructions page on the website to get specific details on how many to take on day by day. All right? Y'all have a good night. Peace.